Welcome back, guys, to previously asked Kurita questions. And today with us we have Sheldon Cooper and his beverage paradigm. Right? I'll show you three different approaches to solve this question, and I'll quote my favorite one, but it's completely up to you which approach you prefer, right? And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section, and I'll try my best to answer them all. Right? Now, moving on to the problem description. Sheldon Cooper, Leonard Hofstadter, and Penny decides to go for a drinks at a cheesecake factory. Penny used to work at this cheesecake factory. Sheldon proposes to make a game out of this. Sheldon proposes as follows: to decide the amount of beverage they plan to consume, say X, then order for a random number of different drinks, say A, B, C, D, E, F, basically an array of quantities, respectively, whatever they are. If quantity of any three drinks add up to X, then we'll have it, otherwise we'll return the order. Okay. And if there is if we are going to drink it, then we'll return true, otherwise we'll return false. Now what we are provided with: the number of bottles n corresponding to different beverages and hence their sizes. Next, n lines containing a positive integer corresponding to the size of beverage. Last line consisting of an integer value denoting by x above. And your task is to find if there is any combination, if there is any combination of three beverages size that can sum up to the quantity they intend to consume. Okay. And if such a combination is possible, then print true, otherwise false. Great. And what's our input format? First line contains number of bottles, order denoted by n. Okay, that's useless. Output, we know that. Okay, the constraints are very vague, right? N is greater than equal to 3, ai is greater than 0, but what is it less than? That's what we need to know, right? So let's see. And this is our sample input and output. The first line shows the total number of drinks that it has, so it's 6, so we'll have 6 drinks. Okay. And after that, the last number, it shows the quantity that they want to consume. Okay. And if there are any three bottles, since there are only 3 person, if there are any three bottles whose quantity sum up to this 22 value, then they'll drink it, otherwise not. And here, yes, there's a possibility, that is 4, 10 and 8, right? 4 and 8, 12, 12 plus 10, 20. Okay, so we have three bottles, 4, 10 and 8, and if they drink these three bottles, then they'll have a quantity of summation of 22. So that's why we return true. And for the second example, 413, there is no such combination possible that there's sum of three bottles is 14, so that's why we have written false. Okay. So I'm just copied those examples there, because what I'm going to do is I'll just copy this complete list as my input, and after that I'll just manipulate it a little bit to get the number and the drinks and the slice, but it will come later on, so worry not. Okay. So now, what is this question, what is this problem? This problem, it's just very weird, right? But what it's actually wants to ask you is that find three numbers find three numbers in an array such that their sum is equal to x. That is what they want you, right? This is the actual problem. Now, what are the different approaches that you can use here? So I'll tell you the all the three approaches, and it's up to you which you want to use. So what's the approach one? Approach one is very simple. It says brute force. Okay, it's brute force, right? It's what do you mean by brute force? Use three loops I'll use three loops. It will give me an complexity of O(n) cube, right? And what I'll do is I'll use three loops. I'll use I, J, and K. Okay, let's just say I'm using I, J, and K. And if I'll check for all the possible combinations, and if their sum is equal to what? If their sum is equal to X, then yes, we have our option. And if we have iterated the whole loop of all the three loops and we haven't find such a possible combination, then we return false. Okay, so this is the approach one. And to be honest, I'll fairly advise you to not use this. Why? Because as you have already seen, the constraints were very vague. I don't know what is the upper bound, what is the lower bound there. I know the lower bound, I don't know the upper bound. So that is why I won't advise you to use it, but you can try it, right? If you are not getting the other approaches, you can try this. Something is better than nothing. Okay. Now, the approach two. Approach two is a you have already seen approach two in many places, but here we have a different sort of what? Here we have a different sort of implementation of it. Okay. So this approach, I call it two pointer. What do I mean by two pointer? I think you have already solved a few questions where you have to find two values, two inputs, basically two inputs, such that their sum is equal to x, right? And the it's very simple. You can just use two loops also, but that's again a brute force. But what if you want to find this in ON? Right now, just forget that there is a question, right? I'm just asking you, just telling you a little bit of different thing, right? You are given a list of arrays, right? You are given an array, and you have to find two elements such that their sum is x. Okay, now think, what will you do? Most of us, the first thing that we get in our mind is iterate, use two loops and check all the possible combinations, and it will be of complexity n square, right? But what if I say, can you do this in ON? And you'll think for a little bit, and since you are smart, you'll come up with a logic. You tell me what? You'll tell me that not actually ON. Okay, ON log n. Okay, this will be the best approach, right? So you'll say that yes, I can give the solution at ON log n. How? You will firstly sort this array. You will firstly sort your array. Okay, now keep thinking, right? Sort the array, and after that, suppose your array becomes 1 2 3 and 4. Okay, now you wanted to find a sum, like you wanted to find, let's say what, 4. Okay, you wanted to find two elements, not one but two elements, such that their sum is equal to 4. Okay, now great. So what, after in this two pointer approach, what you do is you create two pointers, right? You create two pointers. This uh, your first pointer is I, which will always start from 0. Learn this because it will benefit you many times. Okay, and your second pointer is j, which will start from n minus 1. By n minus 1 I mean by the last index. Okay, so I is pointing to this element and j is pointing to this element. Okay, and after this, what do? We check if I plus j, if it is, if this value is greater than the sum, then what you do, you simply decrement j, otherwise you increment I. Since your array is sorted, now you are taking the advantage of the fact that your array is sorted, right? So if you add two numbers and the sum that they provide you with is greater than the sum that you want, so basically these two numbers, their summation is greater than sum. Okay, so if this is the case, then you know that definitely j is a greater number and you need a smaller number than j. So what you do, you simply actually, what do I mean by this ai plus aj? Okay, not this ai plus aj. Okay, so just to avoid confusion. Okay, so you know that this aj value is greater, it is very it's very great. Okay, so you are thinking of to minimizing, you are thinking of to moving on to a little bit smaller value, so that is why you come up to a smaller value. And since this condition is true, your j becomes minus minus, so your value becomes, now your j will become, now what, it will become n minus 2, right? I have already decreased it, so it will become n minus 2. And now what, ai plus aj, uh, ai will be equal to what, ai will be equal to 1 plus aj will be equal to 3. And yes, you'll just have to put a condition in the first, and it is equal to 4. So yes, we have found it that we have found it using two pointer approach. We have found it that there are two elements that exist such that their sum is equal to x, right? So this is just an example of two pointer approach. I hope now you have understood this. What we are doing is we have sorted the array, and we are we are adding two values. One is at the beginning and the other one is at the last, and you are checking if the value is greater than the sum, then you are just decrementing j. Basically, you are moving back. You are moving the pointer that is pointing to the last element. You are bringing it back to the beginning, one by one. Okay, but if ai plus aj was smaller than sum, if this was the condition, then it means that uh, you are adding two elements and their sum is smaller than sum. So what you do is you move your pointer that was pointing to this position, the smallest value, you move it to a bigger value. So that is what you're doing. And if ai plus aj is equal to sum, then you have founded your combination. And by the way, you use this sorry, you loop it like this, from while I less than j. Okay, so this is the two pointer approach. It will benefit you a lot. And if you want, you can use this two pointer approach. Two pointer approach is used to it is used to find two elements, that two elements whose sum is given to a specific value, right? But you can actually modify it a little bit. You can actually modify it a little bit, and you can actually make it a three pointer approach also. I call it three pointer approach because I like it. So what you do is you basically you can the complexity of this will this three pointer approach will be O n square, right? And what you do is, I'll just tell you the algorithm for you use one loop for I, and actually the first thing that you need to do is you sort the array, right? And after that, what you do is you'll iterate for I in the array, for I in array, right? You'll sort iterate through the whole array, and after that, what you'll do is for you'll basically you'll use two pointer approach. You'll use this two pointer approach every time in this I, right? So this AI will be fixed. This AI will be fixed, and after that, you will use two pointer approach. Two pointer approach. And what is the purpose of finding using two pointer approach? To find if uh, n if sorry if two elements exist, not exhaust, exist such that their what their sum is equal to x minus a of I. Okay, I think you might be wondering what I'm doing here. So just assume this. Okay, suppose you have this list 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? And you want to find basically 7. You want to your x, the value of your x is 7. You want to find if there exist three elements such that their sum is 7. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm iterating through this whole array. Okay, and initially my a of I will become 1, right? I'll start from here to here. I'll move from 1 to 4. Okay, so initially my ai will be equal to 1. So, and after that I'll use two pointer approach. But in two pointer approach, what was I doing? I was checking that if a plus b is equal to x, right? I was doing this in two pointer approach. But here what I'm doing is I'm checking if a plus b is equal to x minus a of I, right? I've just decreased the value of x with a of I, and I'm checking if such a sum is possible. So basically, what will become x minus a of I? What will it become? It will become the value was it was 7. 7 minus 1, it will give me 6. So now I'm just checking in this array, in this 2 3 4. I am just checking in the rest of array if 6 exists. That is the only I'm checking. So I'm checking in 2 3 4 if a summation of two values will give me 6. And yes, I can simply use two pointer approach, because what I'm going to do is I'll mark my one pointer here, my first pointer here, my second pointer here, and I'll check if their sum is equal to x minus a of I or not. And yes, since 6 exists, because there is a value of 2 and 4, right? There is 2 and 4, both of them exist. So I'll what I'll after that just use my what I'll use. Okay, this was my basically what this was my algorithm, right? So for I in array, I'll get my ai equals to 1, and after that I'll just use two pointer approach. Using two pointer approach, I'll find that yes, 2 plus 4 will give me 6. Okay, so now we have our answer. Our answer is what? Ai comma whatever what the first pointer and the second pointer. These are the three elements. So our ai was 1, our first pointer will give me 2, and the second pointer will give me 4, and the summation of all these values is 7. So we have just integrated the two pointer approach uh, in basically another loop, and made a three pointer approach. I hope you have got it by now. And if you have any question, please ask them in the comment section. Okay, and this is how we create a three pointer approach, right? I call it three pointer approach. You are free to call it whatever you want. Okay. So this was the approach 2, right? We have approach 1 was brute force, approach 2 is three point approach, and approach 3, this is, what can I say, uh, this is my favorite approach, because in this I use set, right? Approach 3, it comprises of set, and its complexity is again o n square, right? And to be honest, it also requires a little bit of extra space. But now you're only wondering, why am I using extra this approach 3 when I have I have the same approach which will give me the answer in o n square. uh, since both of the approach have this worst time complexity of o n square, right? And approach 3 uses extra space, so The first thing that you might be thinking is why I'm using approach 3. The reason is approach 3 is very simple. It has this feature of simplicity. That is why. Okay, my code will be shorter. So approach 3. What does approach 3 does is back to square one. Okay, we have three elements a plus b plus c and their sum is equal to x, right? Approach C tells me to make a set. What do I mean by set? Approach B wants me this. Uh, approach B wants me to make a set of temp B. It will include the list of all the temporary B. Sorry, just give me a second. Approach C is actually basically, how should I say this? It's actually a little bit of a modified version of approach 2. Okay. Uh, okay. A plus B plus C equals to 6. It's given, right? So A plus C will equal to x minus B. We know that, right? Because we have just used a little bit of basic maths. Okay, a plus c will give me x minus b. So we are just going to use this concept here. Okay, so what I am going to do is I'll for I in array. Okay, I'll just iterate my complete array. Okay, I'll create I'll create a set of b set basically, but benefit it gives you it that it only contains unique value. Okay, what I'm planning to do is I'll create a list of all the b values. Okay, if this, I'll just again take an example of 1 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, and again my x is what, my x is 7, right? So I'll what I'm going to do is I'll just use this. Mm, I'll basically put all of these values. My I will point here, and after that I'll use all of these values. I'll mark all of these values as uh, a position holder for b, basically a temporary b, that this value can be b, right? What I mean by b is one of these three values. I am saying that all of these are a potential candidate for becoming b, right? So I'll just mark all of them as b. I'll mark all of them as b. Okay, and I'll include them in set b. Okay, so my set will become like this, not right here. Okay, so after this, I'm sorry, I think I know it's getting a little bit confusing, but please hold on. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'll iterate through this whole array. Okay, I'll create another loop which will iterate from, it will iterate from I plus 1. It will iterate from I plus 1 till the end. Okay, this is basically what my second loop is going to iterate from. Okay, in this range. Okay, so what I'm planning to do is I'll create a temporary B. I'll create a temporary B. How do I create a temporary B? I'll have x minus what? X minus all of this value. This my AI minus my A minus my sorry minus my AJ. Basically, this is the same thing that I did here, right? The same thing that I did here, that x x minus A minus C will be equal to B, right? That is exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just saying that x minus x A minus C minus x minus A minus C will be equal to B, right? So that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm calculating all the possible values for x minus A minus C, and I'm checking if such a B exists or not. Okay, so I'll create a temporary B, and after that I'll check if temp B is present in B. Okay, if this is present in B, then I'll just print true, which means yes, there's such a combination possible. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is uh, I'll just include I'll just include my temp B. I'll just include my I'll just include my AJ in temp B. Okay, so basically I know it's getting a little bit confusing, but just give me a second because I'm moving on to the coding part, and from there you'll actually understand what I was trying to do. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm just using the benefit of the formula that x minus A minus is equal to B, right? We know that. So I'm creating a set of all these possible values, and I'm checking if such a value exists. I'm just calculating this b for all this x minus A minus C, and I'm checking if such a b exists in my array. If an b exists, then basically yes, such three numbers exist. So basically my x is 7, and after that I'll just make my A and C. I'll just compare all the values, 7 minus 1 minus 2. So it will give me what? It will give me 7 minus 1 minus 2. It will give me 4. So after this, I'll check, does 4 exist in this array? Wow, yes, 4 exists in this array. So yes, that is our answer, right? That is only what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just subtracting two of my values from my x, and I'm seeing that I'm just getting a value which I'm currently marking as temporary b, and I'm checking, is there this temporary be present in my array, and if it is present, then great, we have our answer. Otherwise, let's move on. Okay, so now let's move on to the coding part. Okay, so I know it might have been a little bit confusing, but don't worry, because I'll try to understand it even, explain it even more better in the coding part. Okay, so I'm going to take this, even though they have provided us input like this, I'll just take, I have just written them like this, and I'll just take this complete list, and after that I'll just slice them. What do I mean by slice? I'll just remove this first part. It will give me the length, and I'll just remove this part because it will give me the x. Okay, I'll use the list slicing feature. Okay, so how do I take my inputs? I'll just take my input as this drinks, and after that list, map them into int and input, and I'll delimit them by space. Okay, by the way, it's completely up to you how to take your inputs. Okay, and after that, the first index, it will give me the length of the total number of drinks I have, right? And the second sorry, the last element, it will give me what? It will give me uh, the the quantity that they've chosen, that Leonard, Sheldon, and Penny have chosen, right? X will give me that, the last element. And after that, I'm just going to slice my list. I'll just remove the first and the last element. And how do I do that? Pretty simple. This uh, slice the string from first element to the second last element. Okay, and after that, I'll have my new list, which will only contain all the list of drinks. Okay, now I'll create a counter. It will initially be false, right? It will be true if we are able to find such a combination. Okay, so after that, my first line was, I'll iterate through the whole list, through the whole drinks for I range of 0 comma n. Okay, after that, I'll create a set of b. Okay, and I'll just create okay, and after that, what I'm going to do is, for j in the range of one step forward from I and till the end of n. Okay, after that, I'll calculate my temporary b. How do I calculate a temporary b? Simple. Your x minus your your drinks of I. You just remove two values. You just subtract two values from the x, and you get a potential candidate for b. Okay, and I just now check if my temp b exists in this set of b. If it exists, then I'll just make my flag true, and I'll break it. Okay, that is only thing what I'm going to do is, and if such if if this temporary b does not exist in my set of b, then what do? I just add it. I just add this drinks j, and I'll make it a uh, because I'll just add the jth element, the drinks j element, in my set of b. Okay, because initially the set will be empty, right? So first time this condition can never be true. So after that, what I'm going to do is, I'm sequentially adding all the possible, but I'm sequentially adding all the elements one by one, and I'm checking if it's possible or not. Okay, so since, let's just take an example, right? This was our list 1 2 3 4. Okay, so I'll come to here. My b was initially empty. I'll calculate my temp b. So my temp b will be what? X was 7. 7 minus drinks of I initially it's 1. Okay, 7 minus 1 minus 2, 7, sorry, 7 minus 1 minus 2. Okay, so temporary b will become 3. I'll check initially what's b is empty, right? Keep this in focus, that b is empty right now. So if does 3 exist in b? Right now b is empty, no. So what do I do is, I just add the second element in my b, which means I just add this 2 in my b, which means yes, 2 is a potential candidate to become a b. Okay, after that I move forward. My drinks of I will remain 1 for the complete iteration. Okay, my drinks of J will change, it will become 3. Now I will get 7 minus 1 minus 3. What will it become? 7 minus 1 will give me 4, 4 minus 3 will give me 1. Okay, so now I'll check, does this 1 exist in B? No, it does not, because there's only one value, that is 2. Okay, so after that, not actually, no, I'm sorry, my maths was wrong. 7 minus 4, it will give me 3. Okay, so does 3 exist in B? Right now no, because only one value exists, that is 2. Okay, so after that I'll add another value in my B, and it will become my B will become 3. My B will have 2 and 3. Okay, now I'll move forward. Again my AI will remain same. Sorry, my AJ will change, it will become 4. 7 minus 1 minus 4. Okay, it will give me value of 2. If temp B in B, does 2 exist in set? Yes, it exists. Boom, we have got an answer. I'll mark my flag is true, that yes, there's a possible combination, which means three element exists such that their sum is equal to X. And yes, Leonard, yes, Jim Parson, the real name of Sheldon Cooper, yes, you can drink all you want. Okay, after that, yes, this is the only thing that I need to check, and I'll just break out from the whole, but from the whole iteration, whole loop, and after that I'll just print my flag. This will be my answer. Okay, all right, now I'll just check. I'll just copy this and I'll run my test case. Okay, no errors. Okay, another error, name equals to drink. Okay, there should be drinks. Sorry, silly mistakes. Yes, true. Okay, great. And what about this? What about the other test case? Let's test it again. It should return me false, right? And it returns me false. And to be honest, if you want, I can just I'll just print the three values for your satisfaction only. Okay, temp B, comma, uh, I'm just printing the three values whose sum is equal to X, drinks and J, right? And I'll again, since this one was true, the second test case was true, right? I'll just copy it and I'll run it again. Yes, it gives me what, 10, 4, and 8. The If I choose 10, 4, and 8, then its value is equal to 22. And yes, this was our answer. This was our solution for this Sheldon Cooper and Beveridge paradigm, his paradigm. Okay. So we saw three approaches: the fruit first approach, the three-pointer approach, and my favorite, the set approach. And it's up to you, whichever approach you choose. And but just don't choose that brute force approach. Try to avoid it. Okay, three-pointer is much better than the brute force. Okay, and I hope you enjoyed the solution for this Sheldon Cooper and Beveridge paradigm. So thank you for watching this, and thank you.